We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Almost all of our suffering works the same way. An insulting word thrown by someone, maybe someone with no real importance in our life. The wait for the result of an exam that matters enormously. The person we care about acting in a way we never expected. The plan where we followed all the right steps and which still drifts somewhere we didn't want and didn't foresee. These are all facts. They're moments. We've all lived them, and it's normal. This is simply what it means to be alive. Frustration is part of life, and it doesn't check your status, your gender, or where you come from before it arrives. But the duration and the intensity of that feeling inside us is what makes all the difference. And that's exactly where we can start to separate what is reality from where our own projections over a fact begins. In this video, we'll talk about what the Stoics actually taught about this, why your expectations, far more than your circumstances, are the real problem, and how the people who discovered it, a slave and an emperor, learned to stop falling into that hole of suffering. The pain isn't in the event, it's in the gap. Most of the pain isn't in the event itself. It lives in the space between what you can control, what comes from you, it means your own action, and what you can't, the consequence of that action, usually shaped by someone else's response. Wanting things to go well is human. It matters and it's healthy. It's where the flame of motivation lives. It's why we commit ourselves, why we've grown as a species and as individuals. The problem sets in when that wanting becomes something we can't switch off, when we start to believe that everything depends on us, and then we walk straight into the wall of reality instead of the dream we'd built inside our heads. Notice where your strongest reactions actually come from. Imagine that you're driving to work as usual, and then someone cuts you off in traffic and anger surges through you. How could he do that? Didn't he see me here? I would never pull something like that. And now, of all moments, when I'm already late? But the event itself is only a car changing lines. It's our verdict on it that makes the emotion detonate. The anger is exactly the size of the gap between the courtesy you expected from other drivers and the move he just made. We carry hundreds of these tiny events without noticing. The belief that effort will one day be rewarded, that if we're good, good things will find us. And when reality doesn't match the version we'd pictured, we don't feel a neutral stumble. We feel wronged, cheated, as if something we were owed had been taken. So we can try to ease our foot onto the brake of our own expectations and simply be, simply act. It can sound abstract, but when you give your best for your own sake, you get your best. Because there's no gap left, no other person to hinge on, no projection. It's just you and you. Expect the difficult, and it can't ambush you. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire, and every morning, before he met the first person who crossed his path, he told himself, "Today I shall meet with interference, ingratitude, insolence, disloyalty, ill will, and selfishness." That can sound pessimistic, but done wisely, it works less like gloom and more like a rehearsal for what may well appear on your path that day, like the rushed driver who's about to cut you off. He knew about the gap between reality and expectation, and he did everything he could to keep from falling into it. Like a martial artist who repeats the same movement countless times until it becomes a reflex, except here, the movement was mental. The man who thought and acted this way was a man who buried child after child, who ruled through plague and war, who was betrayed by people close to him, but he didn't turn it into martyrdom because he was mentally prepared for tragedy. His point wasn't to expect the worst of everyone or to stop caring, it was to stop being shocked when it happened. When you already know the day may hand you rudeness, delay, and disappointment, none of it can ambush you. You face it, you deal with it, and you move on. It's never the event, it's your verdict on it. By now, a doubt might be forming. This all sounds very calm and detached, easy to say from a comfortable seat. Who were these Stoics anyway? Philosophers in robes theorizing about a hardship they never actually touched? The truth is the exact opposite. Take Epictetus, He was born a slave, and one day, as punishment, one of his masters twisted his leg until it broke, and he was left crippled for the rest of his life. This is the man who wrote, "It is not things that disturb us, but our judgments about things." He knew that his body, in the flesh, belonged to his master, so the only thing he could keep, the one thing that would stay impenetrable, was what lived inside him, his mind, and his interpretation of reality. He described himself as a prisoner in matter, but a free man in essence. The dose of the medicine always depends on the patient. Here we have to be careful, because there's a trap hidden inside all wisdom, including the very one we're wading into right now. You could say, lower your expectations, control your reactions. It sounds universal, and for many people, it's exactly what they need to hear, but for others, not necessarily. Aristotle called it the doctrine of the mean. Courage isn't a fixed point on a line. For the reckless person who throws himself at every danger, courage means restraint, learning to pause. For the timid person, frozen by fear, courage means the opposite, learning to act anyway. Same virtue, opposite instructions. The medicine depends entirely on the patient. So, be suspicious of anyone selling a single cure for everyone. You are not Marcus Aurelius. You don't rule an empire. You're not Epictetus, and you're not a slave. So the task isn't to copy them, it's to translate. There's an old line worth keeping. A fool learns nothing from his own mistakes. A clever man learns from his own, but a wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Pour into what's yours, hold the rest loosely. The Stoics drew a firm line here. Some things are yours. Your effort, your character, the way you respond to what happens to you. Almost everything else is not. What other people do, what they understand, how they react to events. Devote yourself to what's yours, they said. Whatever lies beyond that, hold it gently, like water. Cup it with care and it stays, clench it and it slips away. This is what finally lets you act for the sake of the act. When you stop demanding that your work guarantee a reward, you can simply do the work, because it's who you want to be, not because you're waiting on a result. When you stop expecting people to be grateful, ingratitude stops being a wound, the clenched hand opens, and strangely, you become more effective, not less, because none of your strength is leaking into things you could never hold in the first place. This isn't giving up, it's waking up to a reality that owes you absolutely nothing, and discovering that the nothing is, strangely, exactly what we call freedom. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Marcus Aurelius. Thank you for watching.